Greetings and welcome to episode 228 of the Words About Games podcast. Weekly video game. Wow, I got the whole intro jumbled up in my head. Because I was like, say podcast, don't say gamescast, don't say gamescast. And I was focused so much on that the rest of the intro was like fucking ad libs. I'm leaving it in though. It's a weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week by the shopping one. Been shopping for PC games, right as we were about to start recording. Mr. Daffin Moody, how are you?
Hello, how are y'all doing today?
I mean, there's no greater statement of intent, I guess. Like when you're about to record a video games podcast, and it's like right up until the moment where I say the intro, you're just shopping for video games. I mean, like.
God, we're a video game podcast.
Yeah. It's on brand, right?
Yeah, he was shopping for music
Yeah.
or clothes.
He was buying games right up until the moment where I made him stop buying games so we could talk about games.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
How are you?
I'm alright. Monday and Tuesday, our life was a bit of a pain in the ass. That's why I didn't play with you and Keith on Tuesday night. I just needed time by myself, basically, to chill.
Fine.
Watch She-Ra, basically. I need something cheerful and awesome. So I watched that.
Fair. I watched Star Trek Lower Decks at the beginning of the week, which was the same. It was cheerful and awesome. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm in.
New season of Star Trek Discovery, so
tomorrow.
this week, isn't it?
Today.
Yeah.
Well, today. I'll have watched it by the time this podcast goes live. The first episode. I'm watching at the moment the F1 documentary on Netflix.
Nice.
I'm watching the first season.
Nice.
It's weird because I watched The Last Dance, and I know all the people. I knew most of the people in it, like the main people, like Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and the crazy one who went wrestling with Hulk Hogan, whose name I could never remember.
The crazy one.
Yeah, the crazy one. But I didn't know the story. So when it was oh, they're going for their sixth world championship, I was like, I don't know if they win or not. Whereas I'm watching the Formula One documentary, Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive, yeah.
And I'm like, I know how. I already know everything that happens.
I know who wins the world champion that year. I know who wins the world championship this year and the year there.
They were doing the bit where I think it was the race in Azerbaijan, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
And I was already cool. So this is the race where
Verstappen
and Ricardo crash into each other.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Christian Horner's reaction. Fucking idiots. And then they go to his house where he's got the farm and he's got the two goats. And he's just and he calls them Daniel and Max. I was like, okay. I dig this documentary. It's pretty cool. I like Daniel Ricciardo, so.
Yeah, it's a cracking show, no doubt about it. A great documentary about showing the inner works of the F1, especially if you like F1, especially for myself, I loved it. I was just like, this is amazing. It made instant celebrities basically out of the Haas, the main guy on Haas, basically because he just swore every time.
I like the cutaway. There was an episode, and we will talk about games and stuff in a second, but I like the cutaway in one episode. I think it was the second episode, and it's got nothing to do with, because they set up narratives like any documentary does, and it's Carlos Sainz, is Daniel Ricciardo going to leave Red Bull, and Max Verstappen seems like a bit of a dick, and then they just cut away to two random people who just laughing their heads off and just being like, oh yeah, Grosjean, yeah, he's not getting around the first corner. And then they laugh. And then the race, and then he crashes, and he does the big spin and crashes into someone. And then it cuts back to them, and he's just like, see, told you. And it's just what? I mean, that's really funny, but what did that have to do with anything?
Yeah, it was really funny. The second season I enjoyed, but it's a shorter season,
right,
compared to what the first season was, which was a little disappointing. But there's still some parts in the second season's still great. Some parts of the second season where you're just like, good God. Good God. But no, yeah, it's
It
I
does
love
make
it.
the races a lot more dramatic than I remember them when I was watching them. Like,
That's fair, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like there's a race that I won't spoil or anything like that, but there's like a race and there's something happening, and the race is basically all done and dusted because the person who's in the lead, he's like way ahead, yada yada yada. But in the midfield battle, anything like that, and you're just thinking, huh, I didn't realize it was that competitive.
Yeah, I didn't realize this shit was going on.
Yeah.
You watch the episode where Ricardo's like leading Monaco, and you see like why he's like determined to win it because like everything got fucked a
screwed
couple
over
of
a
years
couple of
before,
years ago, yeah.
and it's like, all right, cool. Like I'm invested in Ricardo winning a race I already know he wins.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, his engine power goes, and it's like he's not going very fast, and the guy behind him, and he's going to try and keep the guy behind him while he's going much faster, and it's like it made it intense. And again, I already knew he was going to win, but I was still like, come on, Ricardo, I know you're going to win, do it, come on, Ricardo. He's just such a happy, smiley guy.
Spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. He just finished third, got onto the podium for the first time since that Monaco win.
Yeah, and he's going to McLaren next year.
Yeah.
And McLaren are doing well.
Power as well.
Mercedes power. Like, if Daniel Ricciardo wins the championship next year, I'm going to be over the moon.
Oh, that's not going to happen. Mercedes are still not the best.
Because they've done the rules. They're doing the rules changes in 2022 now, aren't they?
Yeah. They pushed it. Yeah.
So it's like next season's just going to be... Like, Lewis is an amazing driver and everything, but, like, next season's just going to be more of the same. It's just going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll wait. That's fine.
You know, I appreciate anyone who says that. I really do, and I understand it. From my argument, well, not my argument, my side of it is that it's not Mercedes' fault.
No, it's no one's fault. All I want, I don't even want like mass battles and scraps and stuff. I just want James Hunt and Niki Lauda, or Prost and Senna. You know what I mean? I just need two people.
Or like Schumacher and Häkkinen.
Yeah, the year it was a few years ago where it was Rosberg and Hamilton. That one year where it was competitive between them.
And even then, people were actually pretty annoyed by it because it was Mercedes.
I don't care. Yeah. Like it can be Bottas and Hamilton next year as long as they're going at each other. I don't give a shit. But this isn't a Formula One podcast. Yeah, we've been talking about Formula One way too long.
I can go into the game. I've played the game. This week. Go on. I can play the game.
This is the Words About. Yeah, this is the Words About Games podcast. Every single Friday, we discuss what's been going on in gaming, the games industry, and gaming culture, and apparently Formula One. In this week's episode, I wish they made those noises still.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
In this week's episode, we take a deep dive into the PS5 user interface thanks to Digital Foundry. Amazon. We discuss Amazon shutting down development of Crucible.
I think we talked about that. I think it kind of...
Not shut it down, no, but we'll get into it. We also discuss French unions calling for a strike at Blizzard and more. Then we'll go over all the new game announcements from the past week, give you a content drop where we recommend some articles you should read and videos you should watch. We'll tell you what games are coming out next week before playing OpenCritic head-to-head, where we guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. And as always, we'll wrap the show up with a post-show discussion to chat about more Formula One, probably. The timestamps are in the description below the video on YouTube. So, if you want to skip past all the Formula One stuff, and you didn't know they were there, tough shit, because you just watched it all. But you'll know for next time. You can just scroll down, and you can click on the timestamps. It'll take you wherever you want to go. You can watch the whole podcast backwards. We don't mind. We're just happy that you're here. If you prefer to get your podcasts in an audio form, we're now up on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Stitcher, and Deezer.
Not Google yet.
Still haven't heard back from Google.
Yeah, Google took their time, like I said. They're just like, we're going to take our time, okay?
But it's fine. You can go and listen to us on any of those platforms.
Sweet. Oh, I'm not even on Stitcher.
I just clicked all the options. Literally every single one. We might be on other things that I've just forgotten about. I think iHeartRadio was another one. I was bored one night and I was
typing in Pornhub.
I was one day. I
Okay.
I was just bored one day, Moody, and it had all the options on Podbean, and I just went click, 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 click,
Click,
click,
click,
click,
click, click,
click,
click, click, click, click, click, click. I think I want to do that.
Yeah, why not? Can't hurt, right?
Yeah, that's true. It cannot hurt.
Since we wasted so much time, everyone's time talking about Formula One, and no one's listening anyway, let's get right into
Let's
the
get
news.
back to Hamilton winning this year.
Let's get into the news.
Lewis
Hamilton wins it now. Oh. Our first look at the PlayStation user interface, and it could be a game changer. This is written by Richard Ledbetter over at Digital Foundry. He writes, when was the last time we saw a game-changing reveal in the immediate run-up to the launch of a next-generation console?
Never.
Yeah. Sony may well have pulled this out of the bag with today's new state of play, concentrating on the much-anticipated PlayStation 5 user interface. Sony's menu systems have always been polished, beautiful pieces of work, but for the next generation, this is married with a truly impressive range of in-game functions. There are some impressive new improvements to existing options, but also things we've never seen before in a console. So you want to hear for a new console, right? Digital Foundry had the chance to see the interface ahead of time and to talk about the new system with Sony Interactive Entertainment's Hideaki Nishino, Senior Vice President of Platform and Planning Management. And spoilers, I think I cut all of his quotes out of this article. It's a long, in-depth article. Go to Eurogamer, go to Digital Foundry, find the thing, read the whole thing. I've cut bits out.
Send them, tell them that we sent them.
Give them a click.
One-on-one time.
And all that, yeah. Turn your ad blocker or pause your ad blocker on the site, give them a click, you know the drill. The basic level, the user interface itself does not disappoint. We've had hints of sorts about the look and feel of the system UI in prior Sony online events with a smart menu system rendered in glittering bronze. And we can now confirm that the whole presentation renders at a native 4K and even supports native HDR out of the box. We also get our first look at the homepage where games and media apps each get their own portion of the UI. There's a focus on instant access to everything you need, delivered thanks to the new faster Zen 2 CPU cores and the ultra-fast SSD solution, supplemented by a caching system to reduce potential network lag. On top of that, certain apps like the PlayStation Store are now fully integrated into the system, meaning no delay when you access them. But the cool new stuff starts to kick in when you highlight a specific game. It's at this point where we start to see the cards associated with the title, and the most crucial card types are activities. Essentially, activity cards take the form of curated entry points into the game, authored by the developer, ready-to-work challenges that get you straight into the action with specific objectives highlighted, and even an estimate on playtime offered. In the State of Play video, we see just how fast activating an activity is. That's probably what I meant to say. We are running from a suspended version of the game, but regardless, thanks to presentational flourishes, any hint of loading is cleverly obscured. You're straight into the gameplay. Also impressive is how the user can return to what's known as the control center at any time during play, able to access any and all cards seamlessly, and that includes what's known as official game help. This takes the form of context-sensitive streaming videos that get you past the current tricky spot, without the user potentially being exposed to spoilers. These videos can be run full screen or while you're playing via picture-in-picture mode. You can even choose where the video sits on screen in the latter option. This won't apply to all games, and it seems that where it is available, it's flagged as exclusive for PlayStation Plus users. The community aspect is also integrated into the control center and therefore into gameplay. Voice chat is easily accessible, which makes a fucking change, and it's a piece of cake for party members to share their screens too, even if it's of a different game. In the State of Play video, we take a break from playing Sackboy Adventures and watch another party member streaming Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Being a system-level feature, back-compat PS4 titles should share some of the features of the new UI. Just like the game help videos, this stream can be set up in a side-by-side configuration with gameplay or run picture-in-picture, with the user able to choose where the video sits. So essentially what we're looking at here is a new level of accessibility and interaction with games from the front end, via resume from rest mode, where the system jumps straight back into the control center, and from within the game itself. There is a sense that with Sackboy Adventures, we're perhaps looking at one of the most fully featured examples of the level of interaction available, currently in the launch period. Hideaki Nishino confirms that there is a level of authorship required by the developer to get the most out of the tools Sony provides. Basically, it's a way for developers to shine a light on many of the challenges and activities within a game that may otherwise go overlooked. But of course, there's nothing to stop the player making their way through the title as they would ordinarily, using the control center simply for non-gaming functions, such as accessing party features. However, activities can take any number of forms. Remember Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and the way that Autolog regularly toss new challenges at the player, especially when someone on your friends list beat your score? The PlayStation 5 UX can do that too, and it'll crop up organically on the front end without having to boot the game. There are further Easter eggs to watch out for in the State of Play video. For example, during the section on using Control Center to access multiplayer functions, we see that there's a joinable game of Destruction All-Stars taking place, and for the user it's just one button press away. We'll need to confirm this when we see the actual video, as opposed to a somewhat choppy low-resolution version beamed over Microsoft Teams, but it looks like the load process from button press to the arrival of the Sony Interactive Entertainment Presents splash screen is a process that lasts around just 8 seconds. It's also refreshing to see that there are no protracted logo screens, we're straight into the action. Sony has confirmed that we're seeing a cold boot of the game here, not any kind of system resume function. It's in Destruction All-Stars that we get a hint of the kind of sharing functionality on offer via the new Create button on the DualSense controller, and this confirmation that both screenshots and video are captured at 4K resolution. We don't get to see how captured media can be filtered and processed before it's shared, but there is confirmation that Control Center can be used to send this media to parties and external social media platforms like Twitter. Another nice touch is how voice dictation is used to add messages to media. No microphone is required, as there's one built into the DualSense pad. The age-old problem of laborious joypad typing is finally addressed, assuming the quality of the dictation holds up, of course. Ultimately, everything we've seen so far of the new user interface suggests a degree of innovation that may well border on outright revolution, depending on how developers choose to use the tools delivered by the new card system. In theory, the sky's the limit, but certainly in the here and now, the focus is on easily accessing more content within a particular title, and maximising the return from what may be a limited amount of gameplay time. But the good news is that it's all wrapped in a high-quality, polished menu system that will be familiar to PlayStation 4 gamers while evoking memories of the slick PS3 user interface. One final piece of good news: we're firm advocates of game preservation at Digital Foundry. We're also firm advocates of game preservation here at Words About Games. We believe that when you buy a physical game, you should be able to install and play it offline. The code on the disc matters. PS4 will always let you run that code. Patches are never mandatory, except for totally online titles, and Hideaki Nishino says that the same is true for the PlayStation 5. Not being able to run the disc code would be out of the question. There will be a PS5 digital edition, of course, but beyond the brand new bells and whistles with the new UI, it's good to see that the commitment to the physical disc is still there for those who stick to the standard console. Like me! I did! Ha ha ha! Did you watch the State of Play video?
Yes.
What do you think of the State of Play video?
It's a sexy looking UI.
It is, isn't it?
It is a sexy looking UI. We can't deny that at all. It just looks fresh and beautiful and clean.
Clean.
Very clean. Not cluttered or anything like that. It looks like it. And that's basically what you want. You want the simplest thing there. Nice and simple, buttery smooth, clean. It looked really, really good. I can't deny this. And with what they're hitting at, what they're suggesting and everything like that, like, that's what it seemed like. I never thought that it would go. I don't know why I didn't think this either, because obviously, like, Last of Us Part 2 was a heavy game when it came to accessibility. Like, the accessibility on Last of Us Part 2 was outstanding. No one could fault that. But I did, for some weird reason, I never thought that Sony themselves would probably take that approach to probably with the UI. And the UI, though, but you can see the fonts were big and beautiful out there. You could see them all. I had no problem reading whatsoever. And I'm sure they probably give you an option to make them even bigger if you wanted to.
Potentially.
Yeah, so it was a sexy little demo.
Yeah, definitely. A lot more, a lot snappier than when they were talking about hard drives.
Just a little bit.
It's such. Plus, it helped that it was only like 9 minutes long or whatever it was. Yeah, the UI looks really cool. I thought the icons looked a bit small, but like you say, the text is really big. So yeah, you can like skip the thing and it'll just for like people reading it like at a far distance, it's like it should be okay. And like you say, there may be options in the menu like make things bigger and smaller and do this and do that. Like I like the like at first I was like, oh, it just looks like a bit of a redesign of the PS4. And then I started like when you start thinking about something, you watch it and you go, hey, that was cool. Yeah. And then you start thinking about it. And then I was thinking about all the stuff that I'd seen in the State of Play, where I was like, the specific individual features that they were showing off. And I was like, okay, cool. Number one, like the number one thing that stood out to me was parties. Are just group chats now. Like they're not like when we team up for Apex on Xbox, and we just like go, okay, we're in party, cool, blah, blah, do the thing, talk, chat, have a good time, play the game, boom, we're done, we're out, we're done.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a party is a group chat, so it's always there on the PS5 because that's what they were doing when they were sharing that screenshot, and it was like, look, the parties were still there was like multiple parties, you could see them, and I like that. As someone who has a group chat for a specific game, like my brain instantly triggers and goes, you could just cut out the middle. You just cut out the middleman in that point. You don't need a group chat for the game if you've got a party on PS5 and you're all on PS5. Yep. Like you just have the thing, and then it's like cool. You just go in, and like I could just boot the PS5 up, and I could look at the party and go, oh, Moody is actually playing Apex, and I could click a button, and 10 seconds later I could be playing Apex with you.
That's brilliant.
That's really cool. Like straight off the bat, I was like thinking about that. I was like, that's really cool, actually. Like I'm into it,
Well, that's what both consoles are touting, aren't they? Like the quality of life improvements, basically, in it. And so, yeah, PlayStation did a very good job here. Like the UI, like I said, it's beautiful, sexy. The new things. What they're touting is really, really canny. Like it's a complete opposite when it comes to the Xbox One, because Xbox are keeping the UI they've had for the Xbox One. They're just going to transfer it over, apparently.
Yeah, it looks very similar. They showed a picture of it on Twitter earlier today. It looks very similar. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks sexy, and like Xbox's main UI problem is its speed. So like, if you put that in a next generation console with a solid state drive, the speed should be a non-issue.
Yeah, it should go up. Yeah, hopefully.
But there's so much stuff in here that I could just be like, that's really cool. Like the other one I was looking at, the other one that really like struck out at me was one. I kind of want to play Sackboy.
Sackboy looks so
and I was like,
cute.
okay, that looks really okay. Yeah. Hold on. I was sat down last night with my Boomerang queue because they've put PS5 games on there now. Yeah, and I was looking at it and I was like, how do I do this? Like, because if you've been in the spreadsheet, I've updated the spreadsheet as well. And if you've been in the spreadsheet, you'll see there's 2 weeks. You'll just see it. You'll see exactly why I was sat in front of Boomerang for 45 minutes last night, staring at the queue for the coming soon games, going, okay, how do I figure this out? Like, how's this gonna work? Because there's like 15 games coming out in 2 weeks. And
if we get through half of them, I think we'll be lucky.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do some division of work here, and maybe just pick the ones we each want to play, and then if really want to play it, and then the other ones we'll circle back around on them. Like, yeah, you'll do Assassin's Creed, I'll do Spider-Man, and then you can play Spider-Man after. You know what I mean? Like, and just for the podcast, this is what we. But yeah, anyway, Sackboy wasn't in the running. Until I watched this video and I was like, I kind of want to play Sackboy now.
But Sackboy's automatically free with the console.
No, Astro's Playroom is the one you get free with the console.
Oh, I thought Sackboy.
Sackboy's coming out. It's a separate game. It's coming on PS4 as well. But the card system, some of the stuff you could do with the card system was really cool. Like, I like the idea of I mean, I love the idea of not having to fucking get YouTube up on my phone or on my Chromebook or on my thing if I'm looking for something specific, and then scrolling through some dude on YouTube's like 3.5 hour video trying to find the one thing I'm looking for, like should see how to do it. You know, and you go, okay, I'm looking for a walkthrough guide, and you click the thing, and then he's like, hey, everybody, and you're just like, not that one, nope. I just need to see how to do this one little fucking thing.
Not the one with the YouTubey face.
Yeah, not
Nope.
the one with someone on the, here's how to get past this in this game, and it's,
I literally don't even watch them. I just go, don't want to see on YouTube anymore.
yeah. But, I like, the only reactions videos I watch on YouTube anymore are from professionals. So I'll be like VFX artists reacting to VFX. Like stuff like that. Doctors reacting to episodes of Scrubs. Like, I just can't be dealing with like just people sitting in front of a trailer going, oh, ah. And as someone who's done that in the past, but like, you know, I've never faked anything. That's why my reactions videos are always terrible. But anyway, I don't get that excitable. I like the idea of like game guides and just being able to go, cool, I'm stuck on this one part, card, this, pull that out, put it on the screen in the corner, and just be like, right, how do I do that? Like, cool, okay, so I just do and do it. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, the little thing that you could put a screen on from your other friend or something like that playing, I think that's really
That's fucking amazing. Like, holy shit. Like, when in the Xbox 360 days, me and Keith used to hang out a lot on Xbox 360 party chat while we were playing, like, games. And just chat away. Like, we don't do it very much anymore because, you know, Discord, video chat, podcast, you know, like Twitch, we hang out a lot in various different ways. But, like, the idea of, like, if you're playing Spider-Man and I'm playing Avengers, let's say, and, like, we just hang out. It's like, all right, cool, I'll just jump in a party with you on PS5. Like, I'll just jump in a party with you, cool. Like, and just, oh, here, share the screen, boom. And it's just, like, we could just chat and stuff. And you can be like, holy fuck, look at this. And I'll be like, I've got your gameplay, like, up on the screen and stuff. I feel like that's a really cool social feature. Yeah. That I feel like it's going to get overlooked. But I feel like I feel like that could get a lot of use out of people if people, like, sort of wrap their heads around it being, like, a full-on social feature. But it's good for streaming as well.
Yeah.
Because if we're playing Apex on PS5 again, because Xbox, they haven't said they're doing anything like this. If we were playing Apex on PS5, I could just get your gameplay and just drop it in the corner.
Yeah, you're good. That's the thing about it. That's the social aspect about it, which is what gaming's all about. So I've seen some people go a little bit negative towards it. It's like, how can you be negative towards this? You may not use it. That's fine. That's
like,
fair.
yeah, at worst, I don't know how you can be negative. At worst, I could see, I don't want to use any of this stuff. Which is neutral. Yeah. That's a neutral position, right? Yeah. It was like the share. It's like the share button, really. The share. I seem to recall, and it was 7 years ago. In fairness, so my memory might be faulty, but I seem to remember a lot of people being negative about the share button. On the DualShock 4, and it's just like, oh well, it's like you can pin cards. Like, I've already seen the whole thing of like, well, the cards look cluttered and disorganized. It's like you can pin them. Like, you can pin the ones you want. Like, easily. Like, the PlayStation Store is just a part of the dashboard now. You don't have to click it and wait for the app to load. Like, in the PlayStation, you just scroll over to the PS Store logo and go down, and it's there. Like, it's all there. Like, that's great. Like, I hate using the PlayStation Store on the PS4. It's fucking slow. It's shit. Like, browsing it is terrible. Like, and it looked like we didn't really get to see it, but it just sounds better already because it's just right there.
It's simple.
It's simple. Like, that's the golden rule of design, though. You want people to be able to do something in as few button pushes as possible.
That is true.
Like, taking a trophy hunting. Like, we both did it in Resident Evil 2 remake. Like, I know we're not trophy hunters, but we have both done it with certain games. Like Spider-Man. I think we've both got the platinum for Spider-Man.
I
No.
don't know.
Okay. But I know we
I'm
both
close.
did.
I was close. I was close.
We both did Resident Evil 2, and it's just like being able to like looking at that Sackboy thing, and like, oh, I am X percentage of the way to this trophy, or this challenge, or whatever it is, and it tells you how long it's gonna take. So if you've got like half an hour before you've got to do something, you can open up your PS5, which will take seconds because it's a fast console, and then you can scroll and you can look and you can see the thing on the game and just that's going to take around about 20 minutes. Cool, I'll do that because I've got time. Do the thing, boom, done.
The crazy thing is, the PlayStation, as much as we've been incredibly negative when it comes to PlayStation and how they've messaged things and everything like that, which we both have, and they've been very coming across anti-consumer in many ways these last couple of years, especially this year. This thing here has literally made me go,
I want a PS5. Oh my god, has it actually made you? Oh yes.
It has.
Fantastic.
I've always said that I was going to.
I mean, you're going to get one eventually anyway. I know.
Yeah. But it was literally making me go, do I attempt to try and get one before? But then I was just thinking, no, I won't, because I'm already going to get one. But I am confirming that I will. That's going to be the first one out of them I get. I'm not going to get the S.
You are me in 2013 coming home from EGX. Because I went to EGX and I was like, I'm getting an Xbox One. Because Xbox has Titanfall. And I played Titanfall and I was like, that game was exactly my jam. And I left EGX and I was like, I need a PlayStation 4. I need one.
Wow.
And I got one. I got one like I told the story on the podcast not long ago, like government check.
And if I didn't have this bad boy here, I would probably be getting the PlayStation 5.
You'd be doing what I did a couple of weeks ago, sitting on website like refresh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a spare controller, I know someone who's got a spare controller going on November 19th. No, right? This is what we've been talking about, though. This is being a fan of something. It's like you say, we've been critical when they've been shit, and they've been shit a lot, so we've been critical a lot. But fair play, the UI looks solid as fuck, and there's a lot of really cool features that I might never use, Moody. Yes. I might never use parties like the way I just described. I might never use picture-in-picture. I might never use cards. I might never use game guides. Actually, I probably will use game guides.
Probably.
Like 100%. But like, I might never go trophy hunting. But that's all still really cool integrations. Mm-hmm. Like, and they're really cool things that I can already, like, having never gotten my hands on a PS5 yet, 1 month and counting. Touch wood. Like like, I can still sit here and go, oh, but I could do this. Oh, but I could do that too. But I could do this. Now, the only trouble is, Mooney, we're going to need to try and convince Keith to get one too. And that could be a tall order.
Gamey, you are exactly 5 weeks away from PlayStation 5. Because I just remembered we are the 19th.
Yeah, well, the 19th.
Yeah. PlayStation don't like the UK.
I'm 5 weeks away from a PlayStation 5, but you know what the game... Because again, I was looking at the spreadsheet. Do you know what I'll be playing? Do you know what I'll be obsessed with when I get my PS5? The game that I will be obsessed with. Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's not even on PlayStation 5, Moody.
I was going to say it as well. It's not even on the booker.
I'm getting it on PS4, though, just so I can... like, put it in my PS5 when it comes. Like, in 2013, Moody, I had no games for my PS4 for 4 days. This year, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to have Spider-Man. I'm going to have Cyberpunk. I'm going to have Yakuza. I'm probably going to have fucking Sackboy. I'm not waiting like a week to play COD. I want to get that out of the way as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we need someone extra to talk with Callum.
Well, Callum's coming in to talk about COD that week, so we should be okay. And I might just skip it. Like, I might just be like, cool, we've got someone to talk about it. I'm not massively interested. I might play it in the winter break. Like, just knock the campaign out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And I won't.
I don't know. We'll see. It depends what they do with it. Like, I might download the beta and just give the beta a shot tomorrow.
But it's only going to be the multiplayer, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, Mooney, I'm weird. I like traditional multiplayer and first-person shooters. Like, death matches.
Glad you confirmed for everybody that you're weird.
Yeah, I mean, everyone already knows that. But, like, I like death matches and like, capture the point, domination, capture the flag, stuff like that. Like, yeah, when Black Ops 4 came out and it had the battle royale mode.
Yeah, Black Ops.
Like, I played that with Russell in Geos a lot, but then if he wasn't around, I'd just jump into multiplayer for a couple hours. I love that shit. Like, I like that kind of gameplay. I was raised on competitive first-person shooters. And World of Warcraft. Speaking of
multiplayer,
speaking of World of Warcraft, let's talk about an MMO and first-person shooter. Amazon confirms it will shut down its flagship shooter Crucible months after release. Flagship, yeah. This is from Andy Robinson over at Video Games Chronicle. He writes, Amazon's flagship team shooter Crucible has officially ceased development just 5 months after launch, and 4 months after it was unlaunched. The move, announced on the game's official website, follows a slow start for the free-to-play game, which has typically struggled to attract more than double-figure viewers on streaming platform Twitch, which its parent company owns. According to Steam Spy, Crucible had a peak concurrent player count of less than 100 on Friday.
Ooh.
Crucible is the Twitch owner's first big stride into game software. Remind me to talk about Avengers in the post-show. Sorry, side note. Remind me to talk about Avengers and concurrent plays in the post-show. Crucible is the Twitch owner's first big stride into game software as part of what is said to be an investment of, quote, hundreds of millions of dollars, end quote, into game creation. In its final website update, Crucible's developer said it would offer a full refund for any purchases made and transition its development team to focus on New World, the MMO now scheduled to release early next year. Crucible servers will stay up for custom games until noon PST on Monday, November 9th. Quote, we very much appreciate the way that our fans have rallied around our efforts, and we've loved seeing your responses to the changes we've made over the last few months, but ultimately we didn't see a healthy, sustainable future ahead of Crucible. In the next few weeks, we'll be hosting a final playtest and community celebration, both in-game and in our official Discord. After that point, we'll be disabling matchmaking, although you'll still be able to play Crucible through the custom games feature. Thank you as always for being part of our community. This has been a labour of love, and we're grateful for the time we got to spend on Planet Crucible with you. End quote. So, game is developed by Amazon. Game comes out. Nobody plays it. Very few people even know it's out. Despite the fact that it's released by Amazon, who owns Twitch, who like, I've seen the same trailer for The Boys Season 2 7,000 times. Well, they couldn't throw in a few. They couldn't throw in a few. I mean, it looks good, and it is on my watch list. But like, they couldn't have thrown some Crucible ads on Twitch, like when they released it. So like, it was out for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then they pulled it back to closed beta or open beta. I can't remember now. We did the story. It wasn't even that long ago. So it was out for like a month, and they were like, we're going to redo it. Because if I remember correctly, now I remember the story now. They had 3 game mods in, and they took 2 game mods out, and then they pulled it back and said, no, we're taking it back. It's not in release. It's not released anymore. Like, it's not. We're having it back. We're going to develop it some more. And everyone's like, that's not how game development works. And Amazon was like, well, we're Amazon. Fuck you. And then, and now they just cancelled that. Holy fuck, what a roller coaster.
Yeah. Disappointing for the team and everything like that, but like Amazon, which is like what you said, you basically pinpoint, like, they threw out millions of adverts for The Boys Season 2, but you can fit in couple for the Crucible, your game, your quote unquote
Your flagship.
Yeah. If you're gonna market this thing, market it like the Enterprise, for God's sakes. The Enterprise was the flagship of Starfleet.
I'm still getting like the fucking Star Trek Picard adverts on Twitch, like, and that came out what, January, February,
Yeah.
like, and I watched it and I didn't like it very much, but like,
Yeah.
I'm still getting
Wasn't good.
bombarded with the advert. You know the advert. If I like, you know the advert as well. You really want to go back out into the cold, and then Picard's like, more than ever, and it's just like, whoosh, you know what I mean? And it's like, I've seen that advert so much I can quote it. For a TV series, for a season of TV that was released on Amazon 9 months ago.
Yeah.
And you couldn't be asked to put some fucking Crucible ads on Twitch. And if you would, I hope Amazon are not surprised by the fact that this game was dead on arrival. Like, I really hope not. Because that does not bode well for anything they make in the future.
It's interesting because I wonder what bodes for their streaming thing that they're doing for gaming.
For Luna,
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Luna is, and we covered it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
The thing about Luna is, it's going to be like the thing that because we both looked at it and said, well, that's instantly way better than Stadia. Is the third-party support and like the different channels that you can do on that. So like them not having first-party games in Luna, which they will have eventually. New World will come out, and I'm sure it'll be cancelled 6 months after it comes out.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't necessarily think first parties are make or break for Amazon Luna.
That's true. Let's just be frank here. Any entertainment basically for Amazon is not make or break for them.
No, nothing is make or break for Amazon. Like was it Jeff Bezos who saved The Expanse purely just because he liked it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, cool. Like, I mean, I don't like Jeff Bezos. I don't like how much money he has, but you know, I like The Expanse, so I can't be mad about that. But yeah, it's just like he just got it on a whim because he liked The Expanse and wanted to see more of it. It's like, all right, cool. Like they don't need to make money off of this shit. To be fair, Google don't need to make money off of Stadia. But like, there is an inherent problem, which I think has been exposed by Stadia's complete belly flop, and now Crucible just being a complete shit show. In that, like, Amazon and Google, I think they've got into this, and I'm ascribing some things I can't remember. I'm ascribing some things I can't remember the word I'm looking for to massive giant faceless corporations. But I think they both got into games because they're YouTube and Twitch, so they can see as companies that games makes a lot of money. And I think what they've done is they've gone, well, we want to make lots of money, we'll make games. And that's not a good attitude to come into games with. How hard can it be? Like, they've come into this thinking it's going to be easy to make a shitload of money, and what they've found is, no, it's not. You've actually got to do the work. Like, you can't come into this half-assed, because that's what Crucible was, and that's what Stadia is. I personally feel like both of these things came out, and they've both been half-assed, and now both companies are paying the price for that.
Paying the price by losing a little bit of their billions.
Yeah, losing a tiny bit of their billions. I mean, capitalism is a nightmare. Like,
I'll rephrase that, trillions.
But we can't. We can't. Like, we're not going to deconstruct capitalism, like, and all of the systems of capitalism. Like, they're paying the price for it in terms of market share and mind share. That's the only price that they can pay. Like, they could lose billions and still be like, and barely notice, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not worth ruminating on that, but like, they are losing like that sort of like Stadia is a joke. Like, in the circles that I've talked to people about video games, and the small subset of people in those circles who even know what Stadia is, like, Stadia is a bit of a punchline, and no one's heard of Crucible. The only person I talk to who's heard of Crucible, Mooney, is you, and that's just because you are on this podcast and we've talked about it like 3 times.
And I didn't even know about it until the first time we spoke about it a couple episodes ago.
I did the games coming out section and read it Crucible and read what it was, and then like a month later when they unreleased it, and you were like, it came out, and I was like, yeah, it did. I told you.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
We were like the only podcast who probably acknowledged that it was even coming out.
Yeah.
Ah, God. Anyway, let's move on. Unions representing Blizzard workers have called for a strike. This is from Fraser Brown over at PC Gamer, who writes, a trio of unions representing Blizzard employees in France have called for a strike, following the news that the company is closing down the Versailles office and putting hundreds of jobs at risk during a pandemic. The unions put out a statement yesterday calling on workers to strike, quote, to defend our jobs and save our company, end quote. In a joint statement from the two unions, Alphabet Soup, the unions claim that Blizzard denied that it had plans to close the office and accused the company of actually planning it for a long time. Quote, this comes to as a shock for the employees who were not expecting the announcement. In 15 years, many of us left their homes from across Europe and beyond to join the company, people who truly invested their whole lives into Blizzard's success, end quote. 285 jobs will be cut, which the statement calls inconceivable given the state of the employment market thanks to the coronavirus. Last year, it cut hundreds of jobs into US offices, particularly in marketing and IT. According to the statement, it also attempted to cut 133 jobs in France, but was stopped by the court, and more jobs in March this year, which it was once again unable to do. The unions claim that management then purposefully reduced the quality of working conditions, putting employees at risk. The statement calls Blizzard's decision to close the office, given that it's a leader in an industry that's weathered the coronavirus a lot better than others, absurd. It suggests that another reason, aside from the impact of the pandemic, is at the heart of the decision, claiming that the will to avoid European tax rules by creating an ABK hub away from Europe in London seems a more probable explanation. With this in mind, the unions are demanding that Blizzard cancels the closure, develops its European office, and invests in the prevention of psychosocial risks. Players and streamers have also shown their support, saying they won't be checking out the World of Warcraft Shadowlands pre-patch in solidarity with Blizzard employees.
Oh, Smeg, Activision bloody saw what's happening over here in the UK and saw Boris Johnson's a pushover. Fudge. They thought, hey, we can get around that bugger.
Oh, hang on a minute. Tax haven. They're making a tax haven. Oh, shit. We can pay people less and they're not signing up to the employees' rights. So we can treat them like shit. That's Activision Blizzard's perfect fucking working condition. This is. I just heard Keith's voice. Oh my god! I'd podcasted with Keith for too long. I literally finished that sentence, right? And I heard Keith's voice in the back of my head just go, allegedly. He used to say it all the time when I used to say potentially litigious things out loud.
All jokes aside,
I've internalized him.
Is it time to start the hashtag fuck Activision?
I started that hashtag a long time ago. Like,
does that need to come back? And I feel like this is not good.
This is just Activision fucking Blizzard.
Yeah, this is the thing about it. Like, are we surprised by this?
No.
Are we surprised that what did it say? It lowered working conditions to putting employees at risk. Are we surprised that Activision Blizzard did that? No. Are we surprised that they want to apparently come to London to avoid the European tax rules? No. Are we surprised about any of this? No. It is disgusting as always when it comes to Activision and Blizzard.
I mean, Activision and Blizzard are one of those companies in America that makes money off of taxes rather than pays money. There's that whole report we went into on a podcast a while ago.
Yeah.
I think I remember Keith's facepalm when I said the American public paid Activision to make games. When I said it was like, it's not a simplification, of course, but it's essentially true. Like, Activision Blizzard cut 800 jobs whilst announcing record profits, record revenues. I can't remember if that was the beginning of 2020 or the beginning of 2019. It was one of those two things. And like, I remember them. So I remember the kerfuffle when they tried to like say some of these jobs will be cut from France, and the French unions just went, "Well, you fucking what? No, they won't." And then they went to court, and then they didn't get sacked. And then it's like, this is why the American games industry, the fucking worldwide games industry, but especially the American games industry, where a lot of these stories of fucking terrible companies and crunch culture and awful working conditions, you need to unionize.
Yep.
I mean, it won't make a difference, judging by this news story, because, you know, the companies will find a way around it eventually. But like, it also will make a difference in that, you know, they didn't. I mean, like, they were probably closing this office down. Like, the plan was probably to close this office down when they announced all those job cuts. I can't remember if it was this year or last year.
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah, when they announced all those job cuts last year, it was like they didn't do it because, you know, France
it's not,
is a better country than America. I'm just going to say it. France is a better country than America. Like, there you go. Boom. Hate all you want.
Let's just be frank and honestly, like, everybody, like, the CEO or whatever Blizzard doesn't just wait, or Activision doesn't just wake up and say, who am I going to close down today? Or who am I going to sack today? He doesn't. Yeah. This is a long-term process that happens, which they were
just
in the process.
Sorry.
Just wakes up.
I had a visual. He just rolls out of bed, you know. Puts his slippers on, gets his pipe. He's lighting his pipe. I think I fancy a new yacht today. Cedric! Cedric!
How can I get a yacht without spending any of my money?
How much will the new Mega Yacht 6000 cost?
Well,
and then he gets this phone, and then he's boop 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 boop. He's on his accountant, and he's just like, okay, I need you to find me $1.2 million. And he's just like, well, that's the operating cost of the Versailles studio. Well, let's shut it down then.
And if you move to London, oh yeah, okay, let's shut it down and set up an office in London. Yeah, it's Activision Blizzard, man. Come on, it sucks. It is terrible. I hate this, especially as a person who myself who wants to get into the industry. And all it just tells me is that don't go and work for them.
Right, but this is the key issue, right? Like, this is like drilling right down to the core of the issue with Activision Blizzard's general behavior, right? And like the general turnaround in the games industry and crunch culture, and like the horrific stories of abuse of all shapes and sizes. Like, you get someone who is looking to go into the games industry thinking that what you just said. Like, well, I don't want to do it. Like, why would you? Like, if you like, let's say we'd never met, right? Like, and you were a potential games industry person, right? And we met one day, and you were like, "Oh, I'm looking to break into the games industry. Like, it's a dream of mine." And I was a horrible person, and I just sat you down for an hour, and I just ran through all of the greatest hits of the last 2-3 years of this podcast in terms of like working conditions, right? Would you turn around and go, "Yeah, no, that sounds great"? Like,
yeah, I feel up for some SMN every time I go to work.
Or would you just be like, you know what? Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll do something easier, like coal mining. Like, it's not good for the industry in a manner of different ways. It's not good for the people who are already in it, but it's also like, I genuinely believe it's also stopping talented people from wanting to go into the industry. And we need talented new people and talented fresh voices to make fresh new games.
Yeah.
Like, we've just had the release of Marvel's Avengers, which is a game I really enjoy and I'm still playing. But my God, it makes every single, like, if you imagine, like, every single mistake every live service game has ever made as a series of walls, Marvel's Avengers has just ran straight into every single one.
How hard's this wall? Not that hard.
Like, I watched the Jim Sterling video. I watched Jim Sterling's video about it the other week. I think it was this week, actually, where he talked about it, and he compares it to Anthem, and I never thought about it before. And yes, it like the comparisons between Avengers and Anthem are eerie. And like, we make these mistakes they make these mistakes over and over again because all of the people who learned these lessons probably got burned out of the industry. So a bunch of new people come along and show up and to make the next live service game, and they haven't learned any of these lessons.
Yeah.
So then they just make all the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And
well,
like,
I didn't get Avengers because it looked like him.
Yeah, obviously, like, there are much bigger, higher concerns than that to all of the stuff we've just talked about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being that person, and I'm like, this is how it affects your games. This is why this is the selfish reason why you should care about this.
Yep. But the people who do care about it are like the 2% who don't buy the game of an Activision like Call of Duty compared to the general gaming audience.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like,
who not it's not that they don't care, it's that they arguably just don't know.
Oh, so many people don't know. I have lots of friends who are casual gamers. Who don't know any of this shit unless I tell them. And I'll be honest, I don't really like talking about this stuff more than once.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't talk about it to people. Maybe I need to start doing that. Like, making people aware of it.
You want to be depressed constantly every day.
I mean, it does depress me. It is funny though, because like, people will be like, "So Amy, what do you think of this?" And I'll just be like, having done like hours upon hours upon hours of podcasts, just like not want to engage with like casual talk with people about games.
Yeah, it's like going back to
whatever. That's not.
It's going back to the cyberpunk thing that we talked about last week, which is like what we both agreed that neither of them came out looking smelling of roses. They both didn't do themselves great favors, but we see both sides. We do. We see both sides. Why? Which one? Why? And everything like that. We do. But that's just the thing about it.
Yeah, I see where both sides are coming from. In that instance, very specific instance.
Yeah.
Both sides is a very thorny thing, like on the internet. Like in that one specific instance, which we're not talking about explicitly because we don't want to just drag people.
Yeah. We don't know these people, so it's unfair.
We don't know these people. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just it's depressing that like you want to try and make the argument that it makes the games that you play worse than they could be. When we talked about Cyberpunk and we talked about crunch, and it's like it makes your game worse. Cyberpunk would be a better game if it came out 6 months from now and no one crunched on it. I guarantee it. I will 100% guarantee that is the case. Like, no matter how amazing it is in November, if it came out in April next year and no one was overworked on it, it would be a better game.
And I would guarantee it'd still make the same amount of money.
And it would still make the same amount of money. People, I wish people cared about this stuff because it hurts people and because, like, it's just wrong. Like, I think that's one of the most maddening things about talking about this stuff from my perspective. And again, like, my feelings really don't matter in any of this. Like, but it is one of the most maddening things where it's like, why don't more people care about this stuff? Like,
it's basically like it's the same thing when you hear things about like movies and everything like that, because like sometimes it's like crunching, heavy crunch, and it's just like no one talks about it.
Yeah. Well, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep talking about it. And when people tell us to shut up, I'll tell them to shut up, and we'll talk about it even louder.
I'm going to talk louder, yeah. So you can never tell us to shut up.
No, you never want to tell me to shut up.
We're going to be knocking up a couple of decibels then after that.
Especially not about abuse of the games industry. I fucking shout so loud you'll go deaf. Yeah. Let's talk about something nice now.
Yeah, why not?
Something nice. According to YouTube, Among Us videos reached 4 billion views in September. This is from James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz, who writes, YouTube has offered more insight into the recent success of Inner Sloth's hit asymmetrical multiplayer game Among Us. The game tasks players with preparing a spaceship for takeoff, but one or more are randomly selected to be imposters who must covertly sabotage the vessel and kill the other players. Despite releasing 2 years ago, the game has enjoyed a recent surge in popularity over the last couple of months, further demonstrated by videos relating to Among Us reaching over 4 billion views on YouTube in September. And I think I made up about 10% of those views.
You haven't stopped talking about it, that's for sure.
I fucking love it. The figure comes from the latest report published in the YouTube's Culture and Trends site, which adds that this is not just gameplay videos. Content creators have also been drawing in large audiences with comedy sketches, animations, songs, and DIY projects based around the game. In fact, 6% of all views for Among Us related videos had animation or some variation in the title. Quote, Amazon? Try that again. Quote, Among Us shares something in common with many of the year's most viewed video games. The game provides an opportunity for players to socialize with others online while remaining socially distanced, which would make it the latest in a line of pandemic games. Fuck me, that's depressing. A list which would include Animal Crossing New Horizons and Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Fucking hell.
Tell you now. Animal Crossing didn't want to be called a pandemic game. Or did Fall Guys.
That's one of the most backhanded compliments I've ever seen in my entire life. All these games fostered a sense of social connection during a year in which that was a little more difficult to come by. End quote. Among Us was released back in 2018, but last month Sensor Tower reported that 70% of its lifetime mobile downloads occurred in July and August 2020. It's a free game as well on mobile. Its success has even boosted other companies, with Discord reporting downloads of its communication tool reached record levels in September thanks to the number of people using it to coordinate with their teams. Last month, developer Inner Sloth announced it was cancelling plans for a sequel in favour of bringing planned new features to the original game. This game is fucking amazing, Rudy.
So when we're playing it?
As soon as possible. Like, the problem is, you need a lot of people to play it. Like, that's the issue. Like, we need to coordinate a rather large group of people, like, larger group of people than just me and Keith. Like...
We know more people than that.
I mean, we know more people than that, but have you ever tried to motivate these people?
That is true.
All turning up to one place at one time. Like, I know people. Like, it's just about figuring out. We need to get firm confirmations. Like, from people to say, like, are you going to play this game with us? Cool. And then we add everyone to a list. And then once we've got a list big enough, we go, right, cool. Let's figure out when we're going to sit down and play this. Because it's fucking incredible. It's an incredible game. Like, and I've played maybe an hour of it, but I've watched so much of it.
She's played an hour of it, but she's watched 10% of the hours of the
I've watched Fixer play it, and I've watched Crash play it, and I've watched Alana Pierce play it. I watched Kind of Funny play it. I've watched Bruce Green play it. I've watched Andy Cortez playing it. I've watched random Twitch streamers. When I've just been like, I'm in the mood to watch Among Us. I go to Twitch, no one's playing it. Alright, cool. Let me just go into the category, and I'll scroll through and I'll go, you look interesting, and I'll just click on a random person, and I'm in their stream for like 2 hours watching them play Among Us.
Are they getting that all important follow button?
They are. I always follow.
No, I don't.
If I enjoy someone's stream, I always hit the follow button. I'm just like that. But yeah, I've watched Outside Xbox play it. I watch everyone play it. Like, I can't get enough of it.
Well, I think that's the plan for next month.
And I'm part of the problem because I missed it when it came out. Because everybody missed it when it came out.
Well, that's the thing about it. Well, yeah, that's the one thing that's confusing me. It came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's changed?
Soda Poppin's changed, Mooney. So the streamer Soda Poppin found out about it, heard about it, I don't know, streamed it over the summer. Soda Poppin's a big deal. And I imagine he brought in some of his streamer friends who have like way more followers.
No idea who the hell you're talking about right now.
Who have like way more followers than we could ever conceive of. And then they started playing it. And then it becomes like a virus at that point. And everyone starts playing it.
Hey, there's something out there right now.
Yeah.
Two viruses all at once this year.
Well, it is a pandemic game, so.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah,
But
apparently.
no, like yeah, that's what happened. Like one big streamer played it, and then they probably got all their streamer friends to play it with them, and then those streamer friends will have gone off, and then they'll have got their streamer friends to play it, and then the next thing you know, it's like Fall Guys. It's one of the most fucking viewed games on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like both things happened simultaneously, and right now, as I've just gone to Twitch.tv, Among Us is the most watched game currently on Twitch. It's got 355,000 viewers.
Yeah.
The next game after that
that
is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is currently, right, being streamed by big streamers with drops available so people can get into the beta early. Can't even beat Among Us on Twitch under those conditions. Like, that's fucking crazy.
That is nuts. That is nuts in a good way. Like I can't say anything about it. Like I was almost about to buy it on Steam, and then I realized, I didn't save my credit card deal, so
I'll do it after the show.
Yeah, something like that.
355,000 people are playing it, Moody, and the big streamers are all playing something else. Because normally when you see a game get high like that, sometimes it's just because the big streamers are playing it. But all the big streamers are playing COD right now. So it's like solid foundation.
Yeah.
Of like people playing this game. Like I'm looking at Phasmophobia. It's like the 5th biggest game currently on Twitch as well. It's like there's these games, and it's been a really fascinating sort of summer slash sit like on where it's like these little games have just come on Twitch all of a sudden and just been like fucking Fortnite, get the fuck out of here. Minecraft, fuck off. COD, get out the way. League of Legends, nah. Like now, Among Us, a game made by 3 people 2 years ago.
Who are now just becoming rich.
Who are now millionaires.
In 2018, they weren't millionaires. 2019, they weren't millionaires. 2020, they're millionaires.
Like, could you imagine waking up? Like, if you were one of the developers of Innersloth, right? And you just woke up one day and, like, this game that you made, like, 2 years ago, and you probably forgot all about. Let's be real. You're making a sequel, cool, yeah, sure, but you probably haven't thought about that game in ages because no one's really playing it anymore, whatever, etc., etc. And then all of a sudden, it's the biggest game ever.
You just wake up.
And you just wake up, and it's just like, what's happening?
And you just see your game #1 hit. Wait, what?
Like, you just wake up, and it's the #1 game on Twitch, and then that never ends. It's like, it's constantly like one of the biggest games. Can you imagine being in that and just being like, I don't know what's happening, but shit.
At least there were some good stories in 2020 we can talk about.
There is.
It's crazy of the shit fest it's been this year.
Yeah. Like, this game is now, like, Among Us is, like, whereas Fall Guys has dropped off a bit.
But I think that's going to be coming back soon. And then Season 2 about to start?
Season 2 is about to start. But yeah, Fall Guys has dropped off a bit, which it happens to most games, but like, Among Us is like... You remember when we were talking about Fall Guys and I said, is this going to be as big as Fortnite? Like, Among Us is as big as... That's not a question anymore. Like, Among Us is that big already.
That's true.
It's cracking.
I'm so happy for them.
I'm really happy.
Random 3 people who woke up realising they have millions in their bank account then.
Just everybody's
woke
bought
up
their
with
game.
nothing in their bank account.
Like, they're never going to have to work again. Like...
Yeah. But well done to them. Like I say, it's their creativity that's come up with this random idea of this game, and
it's hit. It's just hit. It's just one of those things where like all the universe aligned for this game to just suddenly hit all the right buttons at the right moment. I think the fact that it's free on mobile and £4 on Steam probably doesn't hurt.
Oh, definitely doesn't at all.
Incredible. It's an incredible story. It's an incredible game, and I'm honestly considering like
No, it can't be nominated for the Game of the Year.
You want to bet? This is my fucking YouTube
Yes, because
channel.
I'm bloody part of it. So yes.
Well, it looks like we're going to need a tiebreaker.
It's not a 2020 game.
It is like, all right, I agree. It was released in 2018, but for all intents and purposes, this is a 2020 game because you've never heard of it before. I'd never heard of it before.
So?
The internet had never heard of it before.
So?
Nobody heard of this game.
So?
There's probably one little tiny little YouTube channel somewhere out there who's just feeling really vindicated right now because 2 years ago they put out a review for Among Us going, "This is amazing. This is Game of the Year," and everybody else was just crickets.
So?
I will fight you.
Fight me to all you want. The one fact is true. It's not a 2020 game. And that's the only fact I need. You can go and say all these little things, what you've been saying there. One true fact is that it's a 2018 game, not a 2020 game.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in January, Moody.
All right.
I mean, I'm going to troll the shit out of you, right? Let's move on. We're turning a nice story ugly with our arguments. So we should move on to an actually ugly story.
Yeah, but
where we
isn't
can
that
both
game
unite.
where you have to be devious in that game, so it's just doing the thing it does anyway.
Like, me and you are going to be amazing at that game. We argue all the time.
Yeah,
In fact, the only time we'll get caught is when we're both impostering together, and everyone will be like, "Yo, Moody and Amy aren't arguing with each other. They're the imposters. They're the imposters." That will happen. I guarantee it.
Well, we're gonna have to get a game sorted, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna message people tonight. I've got me and you. I know Avril's got the game. She's my friend, Elf Daughter Crafts. She'll play it with us. She plays D&D with us as well. Keith is in because when I sent that first message out that everybody ignored except you and Keith was in. So I know Keith will be in. So that's 4. So we're getting there.
How many do you need?
You need 4, but like if you think there's one imposter and there's only 4 people, that's not really enough for a decent game.
So how many can it go up to?
10.
10. Okay, so we need 6
Like
more.
if you can get sort of like 7, 8. If we can hit like 7 or 8 people, that'd be a good number. But anyway, I digress. I'm moving on to talk about Golden Axe. Because if there's one thing I'm not talking about the Oculus. If there's one thing I like to make sure this podcast is, it's current. So let's talk about Golden Axe. The Golden Axe designers don't have fond memories of making Sega's prototype. This is from Fraser Brown over at PC Gamer, who writes, "This weekend, Sega is planning to release a prototype for a cancelled Golden Axe remake, Golden Axe Reborn. The single-level proof of concept has been dubbed Golden Axed, which Sega says, quote, offers a unique glimpse into the prospect of a project that could have been, end quote. This was news to its designers. On the Steam page, Sega states that it reached out to some of the original development team who were delighted about its revival. Apparently those team members didn't include former Sega employees Tim Dawson, who programmed the prototype, or Sanatana Mishra, who was in charge of design. According to Dawson, who discussed the prototype on Twitter, it was a surprise to everyone he knows who worked on it. Dawson and Mishra don't have fond memories of their time working on the prototype either. In 2012, they were asked by Sega to create a gameplay prototype for an internal Golden Axe pitch, which they had 2 weeks to make. Mishra recalls they only had a day to work on combat design, and it was apparently made tougher thanks to management demands and an expectation that they could make something like God of War in a fortnight. I'm going to come back to that sentence when we discuss this. The team finished up the prototype, but the game was canned by Sega later. Quote, the pitch had changed so drastically by those same higher-ups at that point that I'm relatively glad it was cancelled, says Mishra. Dawson's also not a fan of the way the release has been framed, where it's a weird, janky, buggy novelty. Sega has since edited the store page to remove the section Dawson quotes in his tweet. There's now no mention of it being janky or full of bugs. In a statement sent to VGC, Sega says it, quote, certainly didn't mean to dredge up painful memories for Mr. Dawson and his former colleagues or appear disrespectful, end quote. It also claims that the comment on bugs was meant to be aimed at the PC port that was produced for Steam, not the original prototype. The port was created by some former members of the Golden Axe Reborn team. I just want to highlight a line. I saw, actually, this is one of the few news stories I saw on Twitter, because I saw the Twitter thread before I saw anyone writing about it. So reading, the full Twitter thread was, an eye-opening experience. I want to just highlight one sentence. Management demands an expectation that they could make something like God of War in a fortnight. There were managers at Sega who were like, oh yeah, you can make a God of War prototype demo in a fortnight, right? No. No.
Even if you crunched for those entire 2 weeks, that would be impossible.
Even if you work 24 hours a day for 14 days and somehow were cognizant the entire time, that's still not possible because it's fucking God of War. A lot of people worked on that game. My God. What? I saw this happen on Twitter, Golden Axed, and I think it was Dawson's Twitter thread. I saw it popping off on the timeline where he was just talking about how it was they crunched and management was a fucking nightmare, and then Sega cancelled it, and now they're dredging it up and releasing it on Steam because it's their 65th anniversary or something. And I guess they're just checking down the back of the sofa to see if there's anything they can release for their 65th anniversary.
I loved Golden Axe when
I did like Golden Axe when I was a kid.
The original was absolutely a fantastic game. I can't deny that. I just hit my mic. I loved it, and it's always baffled me that I've never seen a more up-to-date version of it. Maybe it's something that maybe a company needs to buy the IP and maybe put it out to someone else, or Sega just needs to stop being a dick. Let's be frank here.
I love how as 2020 has gone on and we've built our rapport up as a pair of podcast co-hosts. This podcast just gets more and more frank as the weeks and months go on. Sega just needs to stop being a dick.
Just call it.
Just call it what it is.
A spade, a spade.
Yeah.
A dickhead's a dickhead.
Also, when you punched your mic, I think you did knock the wire again. So you need to... But
That better?
Yeah. I'll let you know if it's not. So, I wish Sega would make a Golden Axe game, like a bit like God of War, that would be cool. I'd be into that. Or if it was
Dragon Age Inquisition, because I loved that as well. That game felt like it for me. That's why I kind of clicked with it so much.
A bit I was thinking if they want to keep it feeling like the classic Golden Axe, they could go down the Streets of Rage 4 route.
Yeah.
Because that was a game I played earlier this year with my friend Phil.
It was fun.
There's options for them to bring Golden Axe back. This wasn't the way to bring Golden Axe back. And I love the fact that they've been oh yeah, we've talked to the original development team, and they're delighted about this coming out. And then the original development team just went out on Twitter and went,
"No, we're not.
No, you didn't. No, we're not."
I'm kind of angry, actually.
Actually, I'm a bit pissed. Not gonna lie. You know who Sega probably spoke to? The manager who said that they could do God of War in a fortnight.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Which, I mean, wow. Again. Shit. God of War in a fortnight.
Never gonna happen.
No.
Even with new Unreal Engine 5 coming out, it ain't bloody happening.
Yeah, it's not. I'm gonna read a bit of this news story because I feel like we've been covering this game since the podcast began. 228 episodes and this game is still not finished. As Star Citizen turns 8 years old, the single-player campaign still sounds a long way off. This is from Wesley Impool over at Eurogamer. He writes, Star Citizen's single-player campaign, Squadron 42, is still in development. Cloud Imperium Games has insisted, but don't hold your breath on it coming out anytime soon. Quote, we still have a ways to go before we are in beta.
Wait, what?
We still have a ways to go before we are in beta, but everyone on Squadron 42 is working very hard to deliver something great. End quote.
How small is this team?
It's not, mate. It's not. Let me tell you some of the stories once I finish reading this. CIG boss Chris Roberts said in an AMA on Roberts Space Industries website to coincide with Star Citizen's 8th birthday. Star Citizen was unveiled on 10th of October 2012. The AMA was meant to celebrate Star Citizen's milestone, but among posts about upcoming features for the main game were questions from clearly disgruntled fans who complained about the radio silence around Squadron 42, which is currently 6 years behind its original delivery target. Squadron 42 is meant to be a cinematic, star-studded, story-based, single-player adventure akin to the Wing Commander games Roberts made his name with in the 90s. CIG has released flashy trailers for the game, starring virtual recreations of Hollywood actors such as Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, Gary Oldman, and Mark Strong, but it is yet to become playable for backers in any form. Squadron 42 was originally announced for release in 2014 during the Star Citizen Kickstarter campaign, but was delayed multiple times. In mid-2019, CIG said a beta release was planned before the end of Q2 2020, then an estimated Q3 2020 on a now abandoned roadmap. But that date has passed and there has been no meaningful communication from the studio on the status of Squadron 42's release. Quote, as it stands, the community has completely divided opinions on the expected release date of Squadron 42, with opinions varying from that Squadron 42 is in beta currently to it being 5+ years away, end quote. That was from a user Bobblenair in the AMA. You stated in the pledge, which apparently is this thing that exists as like a pledge. I don't know. We, the developer, intend to treat you with the same respect we would give a publisher. You will receive regular updates about the progress of our game. Given the massive uncertainty on the progress of Squadron 42 within the community, do you feel as though you've been meeting this objective? And then, yeah, basically, Chris, I'm not going to read the massive paragraphs, but Chris Roberts basically said, yeah, we have. Because he doesn't want to like release too much information and spoil the game. Mate, it was supposed to come out in 2014. I held that in long enough for me. I almost backed this game in 2012 purely because the Squadron 42 thing sounded really cool. And yes, it was supposed to be out in 2014.
We've had 5 Star Wars films since then.
Exactly.
We've had 5 Star Wars films in 5 years. Because remember, they all came out.
We've had an entire, since the original Kickstarter, we've had an entire console generation.
Spag, yeah.
Like, PS4 and Xbox One weren't out when this Kickstarter happened. We're about to get PS5 and Xbox Series X, and the fucking game's still in alpha. Like, the main game is still in alpha, and the single-player campaign is nowhere to be found.
They made too much money. They really are. And they're just like, yeah, we've made too much money. Are we still are we still green over there? Yeah, we're still green, boss.
The problem is, right? The problem is this game makes too much money, right? Every time something comes out about this game, something negative comes out about this game, someone asks, what the fuck are you spending all this money on? Because the game has made an absurd amount of crowdfunding money.
They want that yacht that you said the Activision guy manager wants.
Yeah. No, the problem is that every time something like that happens, the core fan base gives them more money. So, like, let's say some. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, let's say someone like writes a thing, right? A piece, and it's just like, where the fuck? It essentially boils down to where the fuck is this game? And then like someone points out that maybe this is a scam. What happens is the graph of like how much money they're making will go up because people will give them more money. Like in the years we've covered this game on this podcast, we've gone from everything to like trying to figure out like people are spending like thousands on a single ship that's not in the game because the game barely exists. And then they buy the insurance for that ship because they don't want to get blown up and lose it. And it's just like, mate, if I'm spending real money on a spaceship in a video game, and you're telling me I have to spend more to keep it in case it gets blown up, you're fucking out of your mind. They were selling non-existent plots of land for $96 a pop. I vividly remember me and Keith talking about that on a podcast once and just being like, what the fuck? Like, $96, you got yourself a bit of land. But the land didn't exist in the game yet because the game's in alpha. And it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years since the Kickstarter.
I can't help these people, Amy. These people are crazy, clearly nuts.
I don't understand it. Cloud Imperium Games is in 2017. It had 464 employees. They have a festival, or they did before coronavirus. There's a fan fest. There's a Star Citizen fan fest because we covered it once. Because I remember them. I remember there was a kickoff about how much it cost to get a ticket. It's like they had a festival. Foundation Festival every year, like EVE. You know how EVE Online has like a fan fest? Yeah. It was like that, but it's for a game that's not out. It's for a game that doesn't exist. We've been doing this podcast for like 5 years, and in the entire time, like we've brought Star Citizen up time and time and time again, like baffled, trying to figure this shit out. And it's 2020, and we're still here. Like, what's going on? Why is this still a thing?
You can't make this up. This is too funny. I won't lie. I can't help that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this right now. The people who keep on playing this game and keep sending their money, you're the problem.
They're never gonna. They can't, because what'll happen is once the game's out, right, and people are gonna be flying around to their thousands of dollars worth of stuff in this big complete game, like. It's never going to end because they'll get less money, and they need to keep the money train going. Because I imagine what they've done is they've scaled up to the amount of money that the crowdfunding's bringing in, and it's not sustainable if the game is out. $315,173,944. On the 9th of October, they got $236,000 alone. How much did Among Us make? Like, what was the budget for Among Us? The biggest game on Twitch right now. Like, what is... I'm just going to type it in. What is the most expensive video game ever made?
What, isn't that Destiny?
No. List of most expensive video games to develop. Now, take this with a pinch of salt because it's on the Wikipedia. All right.
I hear they are factually awesome.
According to Wikipedia, Star Citizen is the most expensive video game ever made. Because this is obviously if this is accurate, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 cost $298 million, adjusted for inflation. $50 million on development, $200 million on marketing, so $250, and then obviously adjusted for inflation because it came out in 2009. Star Citizen has more than 300. Star Citizen is the most expensive video game ever. And they made Call of Duty Modern Warfare in 2 years. And granted, the scope is a lot smaller.
Yeah. I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be frank. I can't help but laugh.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is the next most expensive when adjusted for inflation at 291 million. I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
Speechless.
I don't understand. I don't understand it at all. If I backed the game, oh my god. And I didn't have. Oh.
Maybe you're getting depressed. Move on
hold
to
on. I'm not getting
announcements.
depressed. I'm just confused. I want to click something else.
You get attacked by flies.
Let's have a look at this. Okay, interesting. For a full selection of game packages, click the pledge store. What is the cheapest? What is the cheapest way into this game? Oh, you know what the cheapest way into this game is? Russell's an original Kickstarter backer. I need to hit Russ up and get his details. Because you know what I'm going to do, Mooney? I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going to fucking see what this game is all about. I'm going to get Russell's stuff. I'm going to download the alpha. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to fly about. And I'm going to see what the most expensive video game ever produced currently has to offer. And then I'll be back. Okay. I'll be back on either this podcast or the review podcast, or probably this podcast because it would make more sense. So in a few weeks, when you see it, you go into the YouTube comments, the YouTube description, and you see a timestamp for Amy checked out Star Citizen. Come back, because I think that's going to be a spicy. I think that's going to be a spicy 10 minutes.
It's going to be something with you, that's for sure.
I'm going in. I'm taking off my words about games hat and I'm putting on my Jason Schreier hat, and I'm gonna see firsthand what's in this game. 8 years later,
she's going for it.
Anyway, there's been some game announcements for games that are actually going to come out complete and finished.
Well, one was delayed, but okay.
Yeah, but it's still gonna be. I mean, it's still gonna be delayed 8 more years, so I think we're golden. But first, reveals. I've got 2 game reveals. Final Fantasy XIV is going to be playable on PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility. For anyone who is worried about getting a PS5 and played Final Fantasy XIV on their PS4. And there's a Doctor Who Edge of Reality game coming to PC and consoles next year, and it's going to team up Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Seems like a really good idea.
But you're missing the best Doctor, Matt Smith.
True. But Tennant's.
I don't think he actually wants to come back. I think he's like, yeah, no.
Tennant's the most popular one, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tennant's, I think, has always been the most popular one. But I think the team up with Tennant, I think, helped Smith at the same time. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Like the one where it was Tennant and Matt Smith, and John Hurt.
Yeah, rest in peace, sir.
It was like an amazing Doctor Who. Just watching Smith and Tennant together. Anyway, we got some release dates. Destiny 2, optimized for next gen, launches on December 8th. The Medium, coming to PC and Xbox Series consoles on December 10th.
Nice.
Guilty Gear Strive launches April 9th on PC, PS5, and PS4. Planet Coaster Console Edition will be a launch title for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. And Sniper Elite 4 is coming to Switch on November 17th. Good game, Sniper Elite 4. Good game. Enjoyed the heck out of it when I played it a few years ago. You just shoot people in the testicles. And it does the slow motion X-ray kill cam. And you just watch their testicles explode. They're Nazis, so it's fine.
Fine.
You can shoot them in other places.
You heard shoot for the head. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure thing, Bill.
Okay.
And then just.
Oh my God, you run!
My testicles! God damn it, Amy, not again! I'm just sat there with the sniper rifle, just mine testicles.
Oh god, we're crazy.
Seriously though, I'm looking forward to Sniper Elite 5. I'm going to do a review show. We're going to do a review show for Sniper Elite 5, and I'm going to make sure that the gameplay footage is just a long string of testicle shots.
And all you hear in the background, no, no, no. Oh man.
There was one delay this week. Axiom Verge 2 was delayed at the first half of 2021, which is a shame.
There's Ruckle in it.
Yeah, it's in his fantasy game. It's a game I'm really looking forward to. I love the first Axiom Verge.
But that's all. Be frank, the first Axiom Verge was delayed a few times as well before it actually came out.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it's being made by one person.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, fair play, really.
Fair play, respect to him and everything, but it's not surprising that it's getting delayed.
No, that's
if I hear it's not been delayed to the latter half of 2021, I will not be surprised. Oh, then it's delay if this game needs to be delayed, delay it. Do whatever you need to do, mate. You're a rock star, especially as you're doing it by yourself. You're a rock star, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I love the first one. Can't wait for the second one. We need a title for this section, because right now it just says Game Pass / Games with Gold / PCS Plus Games / Free Games / etc. We need a snappier title for that, but we'll workshop that later.
The free games, that some of them might not also be free because you have to pay them with a subscription.
Yeah, I feel like that's more words, not less. The free games on Epic at the moment: Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, and Kingdom New Lands. They're both going to be free until October 22nd. Go download, go claim them.
I have just now while we were talking.
Always a good idea. It's like when we were talking about Torchlight 3, and then you just clicked on your Epic Games thing, and you're like, "Oh, I have Torchlight 2." Yeah, it must have been a free game at some point. You just click them all. Just click them all. They're free. You might as well get them.
Actual free. So
yeah, actually free. We've got new Xbox Game Pass games. Most of these came out today as we're recording, so yesterday. Katana Zero on console, PC, and mobile. Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition on PC. Heave ho. Wow, I said heave and then I almost heaved.
Heave ho.
Heave ho on PC. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition on PC and console. Those are all... Oh, and the Swords of Ditto Momo's Curse on PC. Those are all out now. If you've got Game Pass and you're interested in any of those games, you can go and download them. Also coming out this month, Scourgebringer is coming out on console on October 21st. That's already on PC in game preview. Cricket 19 is coming to console on October 22nd, and Superland is also coming to console on October 22nd. So you know when I was saying I was deciding between like 3 or 4 games for my next retrospective review?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that one of them just went into Game Pass, I think has sealed it as a sign from the prophets that this is the one. Tales. Because like it was the only one I didn't own out of the ones I was thinking of to do next. But I was like, if I do Tales, I'm going to have to try and fucking get Tales, either buy it on sale, and it's never been on sale, or I'm going to have to rent it, and it's going to take up a slot, and we've got Next Gens coming out, and then it just, the profits just went here. It's in Game Pass. And I was like, alright, cool. Well, I mean...
Phil heard you, I mean.
It'd be rude not to. Like, the other games are like Bloodborne, Undertale, Spec Ops. I own those games. I can play those games whenever I want. With Tales... I can play it as long as it's in Game Pass.
That's true.
So it's like, if I do it now, and then I don't have to worry about it. Alright, games leaving Game Pass, all on October 30th. After Party, Lego Star Wars 3, Rise and Shine, Tacoma, the Lord of the Rings Adventure card game, and the Red Strings Club. So, you've got until October 30th if you want to play any of those games. I recommend After Party. I can recommend After Party, and Tacoma, and the Red Strings Club. They're all really good games. And I think a combined total of about 10 hours. if you wanted to play all three.
Yeah.
There are no other.
Yeah, just say the quote-unquote free games. Just there. Quote-unquote
But some
free
of them are
games. Just
free
do that.
games.
What?
But some of them are free games.
Yeah.
See the problem.
I know.
Some of them are free and some of them aren't free, so you can't be clever with it. Because then you're being too clever. We'll workshop it. It's fine. We've got a lot to get through. Because you've got a content drop next. Some articles you should read, some videos you should watch. I really need to start checking more websites for opinion pieces than GamesIndustry.biz, even though they do amazing opinion pieces. Because we've got 2 articles from GamesIndustry.biz. The first one, Successful Indie Devs on Coping with Failure and Imposter Syndrome. This is some devs chatting about what I just said. It's a really cool article. You should go and watch it. You should go and read it. Can't watch it. It's words on a screen. You could watch it, but you wouldn't get anything out of it.
The person who I told you I was watching today on stream, she was asked about this question as well for imposter syndrome. She basically just said that, basically she's surprised if that basically everybody in the gaming industry doesn't have imposter syndrome and everything. Anyone who's like a creator will probably have imposter syndrome.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's hard not to. Especially when you do something like this.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like, I think when you're creating anything, like, I think it's difficult not to have imposter syndrome. How do I deal with it? I play Among Us.
She plays Among Us.
Because imposters. Yeah, get it? You're in the game. Just eject the imposters into space.
I'll stab them.
Unless I am the imposter, in which case, then it's just like real life. There's also an article, FIFA 21 Critical Consensus, which talks about the fact that FIFA 21's Metacritic score is really low, but the game is still selling really well. So it talks about the game needs to change, but it's whether the game will change. It's a really interesting article.
That's the thing about it, yeah. The people who are bashing it, smashing it on Metacritic and everything like that are people who are in the game, like us, who are in the space and everything, and that's just 2%.
Yeah.
Compared to the millions of the general gaming audience.
Yeah.
That 2% does nothing to dent it.
No,
Absolute
we can
idiots,
make a
man.
difference, but not when it comes in the face of $1 billion franchise.
The thing also that helps is that FIFA's arguably the biggest sport. Football is the biggest sport in the world, arguably.
Yeah, probably.
It's in the top 3.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah. No, yeah. Oh, I think if anyone likes Madden or like American football, it's like, all right, that's fair.
Yeah,
understand
I
where
could
you're
see
coming
it. Yeah, like maybe not like 10
from.
years
For me,
ago, but now.
FIFA, soccer for American fans,
because
stuff like that.
I feel like we just
compared to NFL for me.
I feel like we just think that of NFL because NFL is now big here in this country because they bring it over to Wembley, or they did before coronavirus. Whereas like soccer is like a worldwide thing, right? Like it's everywhere. It's a bigger deal in some countries than it is here, and we invented it. So we've also got some videos. Actually, got an entire YouTube channel because there's a lot of the Xbox Series X has gone out to influencers and media, and it's had like this weird staggered embargo where you can only talk about specific things at specific times. And I have been really enjoying Alana Pierce's coverage of it.
She's
on her YouTube channel. So I have a link to her YouTube channel below to go and check that out. She also does really entertaining Among Us streams on YouTube.
Get over Among Us, all right? We're going to play it.
Look, I'm just pointing it out. It's part of the content drop. 2 funny videos, I guess. On the Game Informer channel, they've got an exclusive look at Spider-Cat in Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's amazing. Miles has his cat with a little Spider-Man mask on in his backpack in the game. it's the best thing I've ever seen. Or it's probably not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's pretty great.
Well, when a cat was arguably one of the biggest things coming out of the PlayStation 5 full reveal.
I mean, it was. Let's not kid ourselves. That game was Game of the Year 2021. Like they had Game of the Year 2020 with Bugsnax, and they had Game of the Year 2021 with whatever that cat game is. In the same stream, and people still said it was boring. The last link in the content drop is a video from a YouTuber I've never heard of. I just found this on Twitter and thought it was amazing. Sprayed with blood every time I get hit in Dark Souls 3. Dude made a weird contraption that sprayed him with fake blood every time he gets hit while playing Dark Souls 3. It's a really funny video. As you can imagine. He's got an easy mode setting where it only sprays him when he dies. And then he's got a hard mode setting where it sprays him every time he gets hit. So when he gets like comboed and stuff, this thing is just blasting him with fake blood. It's really funny. It is. It's just really funny.
I bet it is. I haven't seen it though.
You should watch it.
To be honest.
Games out next week. There are some games coming out next week. Not as many as last week. We don't have much time left.
So if you let me say it, I'll read them.
I'm shutting up now. Do you not like my theme song?
Yeah.
I worked all week on that.
Yeah. Don't give up your day job.
I mean, I didn't.
Okay, I think I'm saying this right. Amnesia Rebirth. A descent into darkness into the creators of the iconic Amnesia series. A harrowing journey through desolation and despair, exploring the limits of human resilience.
PS4 and Xbox and PC.
Oh, yes, PS4 and PlayStation 4. Just said PS4 and PlayStation 4. PC and PlayStation 4. On PC, the guides?
The guys.
The guys is a dark Metrovania fairy tale about a boy trapped in a body of a monster. Can he hold onto his humanity? It's up to you. I won't lie, I don't think anyone can put Metrovania anymore thanks to Philip Newson.
Oh, just wait. There's an amazing, like the best video game description I've ever seen is in this list.
Okay. Coming to PC, Xbox One, and a Nintendo Switch, Scourgebringer, my apologies. It's a fast-paced, free-moving, roguelite platformer. Help Kaya to explore the unknown and slash her way through ancient machines guarding the seal of her past, and maybe to the redemption of humanity. Humanity doesn't need to be redeemed, don't worry. Tenderfoot Tactics on PC. A party of goblins granted magic by ancient spirit wanderers. The archipelago fighting back the terrible fog. Wield elemental powers with a wild repercussions. Thank you. In this open world tactics RPG. October 22nd. The first ones were October 20th, and the second two were October 21st. October 22nd. Dice Room PC and Nintendo Switch. Are you ready to get sliced in half? The year is 2089, and a giant disk has appeared in orbit of Jupiter. Step into the oversized spacesuit of a brave scientist and explore this sprawling intergalactic slaughterhouse. The Red Lantern, PC and Nintendo Switch. The Red Lantern is a resource management narrative game where you and your team of 5 sledge dogs must survive the wilderness and find your way home. You play as the Musher as she sets out to build her dog sledding team and her new life. Finally, not finally, sorry.
Finally on October 22nd.
Population 1, PC and VR, I'm guessing that means.
PC VR headsets. Okay. It's a VR game.
Fight anywhere in this squad-based VR battle royale.
Fantastic.
For-
10 out of 10. Steam store page description there.
October 23rd, Transformers Battlegrounds, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Bumblebee and the Autobots have a new commander. You assemble your squad and roll out for battle against the Decepticons and team up in local multiplayer. And finally, Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp coming to PC brings you more of the world's best and maybe only multiplayer dating sim, but in a way you've never expected. There you go. Well, you didn't disturb me this much, so you got through it faster.
I can't wait. Monster Prom 2's coming out next week, Moody. I'm so excited.
Are you actually excited for that?
I fucking love it. I've played the first one so much. Like, it's amazing. I can't wait for the second one. Like, I had my whole week figured out, and then Beautiful Glitch were just like, yeah, Monster Prom 2 is coming out next week. And I was like, well, I'm just going to clear my entire schedule.
So long, guys.
Let's play OpenCritic head-to-head, Mooney. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the score of Remothered Broken Porcelain. And I will talk more about that game on Monday's weekly review. I guessed it would get a 70. Moody guessed it would get a 79. Currently, at the time of recording, Remothered Broken Porcelain doesn't have any reviews on OpenCritic. Not even like it doesn't have a score, which it doesn't. It doesn't have any reviews. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. No one's reviewed it. So, like I said, I've played some of it. Moody's heard me talk about this a little bit. But yes, I will be talking about this game on the weekly review coming out on Monday. And I am going to have some things to say about this game.
Oh, fuck. Thursday the 19th of November, so we're fucked.
I know.
Sorry, random.
I know. I know. You looked at the spreadsheet, didn't you?
How do you want the lube attached to the pitchfork, Amy?
We've got to record the podcast that day as well. That leaves the current scores at Amy 17, Moody 18 with 3 draws. Because there's been no changes, I'm not going to read the massive list of games that we've tried to guess this year. This week. What am I doing? This week, we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of Amnesia Rebirth. Because I wrote this before I knew Monster Prom was coming out. Boom, 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 boom. And Amnesia Rebirth comes out on Tuesday, so... What do you think, Moody? What do you think the OpenCritic average of Amnesia Rebirth is going to be?
I'm going straight into it. Straight into it, Amy.
I mean, so am I when it comes out, but what do you think the score's
I'm sliding right into this with an 85.
Oh, very nice. I mean, Amnesia is one of the most well-regarded horror games of all time.
But they have had the kind of an up and down when it came to the games.
Yeah, you see, if you've been looking up the Amnesia games,
yes,
then I got something that might make you feel better about what you just said, because I'm guessing you looked at the other one as well, Machine for Pigs. Was the other Amnesia game?
But I have looked up because some sites have this, and they put a preview. So I've read a couple of previews, and a lot of them.
No, I'm going to make you feel better. A Machine for Pigs was made by a different developer.
Oh, that's even better then.
Yeah, I remember it coming out. It was made by the people who made. I want to say Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Oh, that's an alright game though. That.
Oh yeah, This was years before that game came out.
Alright, that explains everything.
But yeah, I like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
What the hell's wrong with Twitter?
I still don't think I've seen a game look as graphically impressive as Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That game looked like real life. Anyway,
it was a beautiful game. No doubt.
Amnesia. I'm gonna gonna guess it's gonna get an 82. 82 I'm going for. On my end. That's where I'm at.
Cool.
Spooky season.
Spooky season.
I love playing spooky games that are good. More about that on Monday's episode of the Weekly Review. For now,
you want to talk about Avengers?
I do. Well, it's concurrent players. Did you see the news about Avengers? Yeah, you said you didn't see any news, did you?
No, I won't have seen anything.
All right. So you didn't see the news about Avengers dropping to like 1,000 concurrent players on Steam?
No.
Avengers dropped to 1,000 concurrent players on Steam. People are now having trouble getting into games.
Wow.
On PC. And I'll be honest, I've been playing the games solo on Xbox when I've been dipping in and out, so I don't know if it's the same on Xbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Steam stats for it. Like, even during launch, it managed to hit an all-time concurrent peak of 31,165. Which is not high, because Deus Ex Mankind Divided hit an all-time peak of 52,485. And Deus Ex was the series that got shelved so that Square Enix could make Avengers.
Bloody hell.
It's not doing well. Not doing
No.
well. And the fact
Not
that
at
there
all.
hasn't been a war table this month is concerning. Like, even for me, as someone who was like, oh yeah, I'm in for the long haul, you know, because it's Avengers and I want to see it through and stuff. Like, I readily admit to, like, all of the problems of this game, right?
Yeah.
I've said as much in conversations with you. It's like 1,302. That's bad. That's bad. Like, it's a live service game. It needs players. But the like, yeah, I've readily said like it's got problems. In a lot of areas, like the campaign's only going to hold people for so long, right? Because it's only like a 10-hour campaign, and then it's like, what do you do after that? Like, but like, there's supposed to be a new character at the end of October. And it's October, when this episode comes out, it's October 16th. And there's been nothing about when that character's
2 weeks
coming
away
out.
from the end of October, or from Saturday.
Yeah. Like, they haven't done themselves any favors. And I know there was that thing where it was like, they did the war table, but they had to take out a big chunk of it because it was to do with Black Panther. And obviously, it was like the day after, it came out the day after Chadwick Boseman's passing. Yeah. So I get why that happened. But it's like, you guys need to tell people what to expect. Because if this is a live service game, right? Like, you need to tell people what to expect next. Because currently, no one really knows what's going to happen next. Like, I take the piss out of roadmaps all the time, but Avengers currently doesn't have one. Which is an issue, because it's now been out for a month. More than a month.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like people are starting to wane on the game. I'm starting to wane on the game. And I only play it as something to do while I'm listening to podcasts. Like, and even I'm starting to think, is there something else I can be playing? While I wait, like...
There's always something else you can be
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, obviously. Yeah, of course. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to think, maybe I'll just leave it, put it down, walk away, come back when there's some new content.
That's the thing when it comes to the problem when it comes to live service games. It always is. Especially when it comes to like content creators and everything like that. They smash it so hard.
Oh, God, yes.
They smash it so hard that they wonder, thinking, oh, well, I'm done now. I don't know why I'm playing this. I'm thinking, because you smashed it so bloody hard. You've literally played it constant to the end of time, basically. Well, that's been highly over the top there, but you know what I mean.
Oh no, 100%.
Like,
there'll be people complaining about a lack of content, like a week after the games come out, And it's like, well, I've got my character at level 150, Palo 150, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you've basically played the game non-stop. Because it's taken me a month to get to that point of being like, where's the new content? I need something new. Or at least not even, I don't even necessarily need something new. Like, for me, I just need to know that something's coming, like, imminently. And not a raid or anything like that. I mean, something that I can do, right? Like, even if it is just like K Bishop's coming with new story, and like a new bosses, and like I need something on the horizon, and I know there's gonna be stuff, but like the reason it's bleeding players is probably because it's bleeding players like me, who are like in that middle ground between someone who's casually playing the game and will check it out whenever the story stuff comes out. And then there's the people who have like just maxed the fuck game, smashed it to pieces in like 3 days. And then in the middle, there's people like me who will just keep picking it up every now and again and play it and do things and do the things. And like I'm trying to do Captain America up to the maximum level, and then I'm thinking I might do Black Widow as well because I really like playing as Black Widow. And like I'm not like destroying. Like the only time I could say I destroyed it was when I was going through the campaign because I really really enjoyed the campaign. But you're even on the verge of losing me. And the thing about losing people like me is we don't come back easily. Because this exact thing happened with Destiny. I played Destiny 2 by myself because of the first game. Nobody would come with me, which is understandable. And I played it, and I played the campaign, and I fucking loved the campaign. And I smashed that in a couple of days. And then I did my video. Blah, 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 do this. People watched it. And then I got a couple of people in to play with me. So then they went through the campaign. And then we were playing it for a while. Like, doing all the weekly stuff. And, like, doing the dungeons and doing this, doing that, doing the other. And then eventually it got to a point where it was like, cool, you've released a raid. Great, we're not raiders. We're not going to play that. Nothing else is coming out. We're going to bounce with every intention of coming back when an expansion came out. And as you know, I never went back to Destiny 2 until earlier this year. Yep. Like, because that's the issue. Like, if I bounce out of this game with every intention of coming back to it, there's a good chance I'm not going to go back for years. Maybe.
Avengers 2 will be out then.
Yeah, probably. I need to, they need to even just announce stuff.
They need to talk, that's for sure, especially as there's apparently meant to be coming at the end of the month. So they need to be starting to talk soon.
Yeah, especially now that the concurrents are low, and like they're confident that they're going to get the players back, but it's like you need to act quite quickly. Yeah, because the IP is only going to get you so far.
The IP was the thing that got you the high numbers.
Yeah, the IP.
It wasn't because of the bloody game. I can tell you that, because the game, for me, like I said, there's a reason why I haven't played the game. It just doesn't look fun to me.
Yeah, but you don't like those kind of games as well. Like
it's that as well. Oh, I admit that. Like I say, I'm still surprised that I enjoy Apex, but I'm not a fan of any of the other battle royales at all. I don't touch them. It's not for me. And like, but this is the thing. I am wanting to have this type of game out there for me, but it just hasn't worked for me. Like Destiny 1 and 2 just haven't worked for me personally. Anthem was a big slap in the bell end area, and Avengers, like, it just for me just never looked good. It looked very mediocre, and it came across very mediocre for me. So I was just like, nah, I'm not even touching it. And even though I got a little bit, I'm hearing people are going, oh, this is really fun. This yada yada yada. But then the main thing was, it's just button bashing. I'm thinking, nah, I can't do a button bashing.
It can be. It doesn't have to be. I explained it in my video. It's a lot deeper than, if you want it to be, it can be a lot deeper than that. But, my advice to you, would be to, when you've got nothing to play, I mean, I know that's never going to happen, but when you've got very little to play, and you've got like a spare 10 hours, just get it, play the campaign, and then just leave. And maybe like play some maybe by then some character stories will come out so you can play some more of it, because the campaign's excellent and I think you'd really appreciate it. The story. But aside from that, knowing what you're like with live service games in general, like I wouldn't recommend this game to you. Even though I desperately would like someone to play it with. I'm not going to mislead you in that way.
Well, the thing is, like, say I had it, didn't I? And then, like, things started happening. Like, we both got a little busy, needed to play other things.
Yeah, well, you couldn't play the campaign together as well. Or it's like, okay, cool. Like, if we're going to play this together, you have to get through the campaign first. And I'm pretty sure that after you've done the campaign, you're just not going to be bothered about playing the rest of it.
No, I wouldn't. Like, say I've returned it back to Boomerang, so.
Yeah. But yeah, like, just wait. Like, yeah, once it starts getting going, like it's the old live service game story. In a year's time, there'll be an expansion. The Kree will invade, and it'll be.
Well, the X-Men will be added.
Yeah, or like Galactus and the Fantastic Four will come into it. Something. There'll be a big expansion like a year's time, and that'll be the moment I think where it's like make or break for the game. It's either going to go in the direction of Anthem, or it's going to go in the direction of Destiny.
Yeah.
But like, to even get that far, like it needs a solid base of players, and to keep that solid base of players, it needs semi-regular content.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, and I know we're only like 6 weeks away from its release date, but that's a long time. That's a long time, especially when you're staring down one of the best console launch lineups of all time. Like Avengers could have a big problem on its hands.
Like you've got some big open world games coming out there. Sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how good it doesn't matter like if no one's playing it. It doesn't matter how good the updates are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping this time next week we're sitting down and I'm like, oh yeah, there was a war table and it showed this and it showed that and this is coming and that's coming and it's cool. It looks all great. And then I'm on a weekly review going, I played Kate Bishop's missions. They were great. I can't wait for more. Kate Bishop's amazing because I really actually do want to play an archer. Like, title character in that game I think might be really cool, but we'll see. That's going to do it for this podcast. We mentioned concurrent play accounts on whatever it was. I was like, oh yeah, Avengers. That's going to do it for episode 228 of the Words About Games cast. Thank you very much for watching if you've watched. Thank you very much for listening if you listened on our brand new podcast feed over on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, etc., etc. You know, like the thing or rate the thing or however it works on whatever platform you're watching. That would be lovely. Because we love you.
We love you dearly.
We're doing heart hands for the people
who
are on audio.
Again.
Bye.
Bye.